Alright, so this video is designed to teach you how to create, customize, and share your Google form, and also is designed to allow you to see what format the Google form responses come back to you in. And we'll look at that a little later, but this is if you're logged into your Gmail account, or if you log into your Google domain, it'll bring you to your email first, usually. And then from here up on the top, you'll see you have the choices. And if you're in your personal Gmail accounts, it may have a few more choices up here, but for your domain, it usually looks like this. Drive is the option we want, although some people still have it set as Docs. This will in the near future be Drive for everybody if it isn't already when you're watching this. When you click on that, it'll take you to your documents. And for the privacy of my emails and for my students and staff members, I've set the changes so that you don't see any of the documents or the emails. But it looks exactly like this. Say if you'd have a couple emails or a couple documents in here. To create a new form, you click on Create here in the left-hand corner. Click on Form. Now, the information you can receive from forms is as varied as you can imagine. It can be anything. I've seen students having quizzes on Google Forms. I've seen administration collecting feedback from staff members. I've seen teachers getting feedback from parents and students. So it really is, I mean, whatever you want to use it for as far as collecting feedback or seeing what people know and understand, this is definitely a great tool to get that quickly, efficiently, and have it organized in one location on a spreadsheet, which we'll be seeing in a little bit. You'll notice at the top here we have the blue and the gray lines. There's a lot of choices in here, and the gray area is 3 different check boxes that you can select. The first one gives permission to users to edit their responses. The second one requires people in the domain, this one being the FCSU, to sign in to view the form. And the third one is going to automatically collect respondents' FCSU or domain username, which is great if you have no intention of going outside of your domain, and because it makes it very simple for you to see exactly who's giving you the feedback. However, for this case, we're going to uncheck all these boxes. It will then ask permission. Are you sure you want to make sure that this form is accessible outside of your domain? I do want to do that. And again, this is basically going to make it a public form or survey. I have the items that I can add, which are the different types of questions, which I can do that in a couple different places. You'll notice at the bottom here I can also add a section header and a page break. I can change the theme, so this is what it's going to look like for the people who are actually answering the survey or the questions. There's 97 different options, so it's definitely something in there for whatever your purpose. For this one here, this one here looks pretty simple. This is what the form would look like for my audience. So I'm going to take that, apply it. I'm going to title my form so that my audience knows what they're answering questions about, and to allow me to find it later on in my document settings. This will give me that chance. So let's see, it's practice. Let's see, I'm going to call it the School Tools for School Practice form. Here I can give a little bit of information that'll help them fill it out, or to give them information about what the form is. Alright, now I have a couple different choices. I can keep adding. There's 2 sample questions to start with. And this is pencil is for editing. The double is to duplicate, so if I have a form layout or if I have a question layout that I will use again and again, I might duplicate it, change a few things about it, and move on. And then if I want to delete one, I click that. So I'm going to edit this one. You'll notice the question type, so how the audience actually answers the questions. There's text, which is just a short text, paragraph text, which is longer text, multiple choice, where you can choose one answer, check boxes, where you can choose more than one answer. You can choose from a list, you can use a scale, and you can even have a grid. So pretty pretty extensive collection of different question types. For this one, we'll do checkboxes. And what as a writing teacher, focus on that. And again, here's a little help text, and this might say, what are the steps to the writing process? A little help text might be, so just something like that would be there. Here's where you get to actually type in your options if you're doing multiple choice. If you're doing a text or paragraph text, you don't have that option. You just get what their answer is, and choosing from a list, you also have that option to use multiple choices in there. So checkboxes, let's see. Alright, so here the choices are, and I can either make this down here at the bottom, you'll notice make this required question. If that goes unchecked, then the person can submit the form back to you without having answered this question or whichever question it is. If it's checked, they will need to make sure they answer this in some way, shape, or form before they're allowed to submit it. Doesn't mean it has to be the right answer, but it's an answer. You click done and it moves you on. You'll notice a little star here means that it's a required required question. I can again go back and edit if I need to make any changes. If this format is something that I'll use, I can duplicate and it'll give me the same basic layout, and maybe I want to change a couple things, something like that. If I don't want to do that, I delete. I'll ask if I want to get rid of it. I do. We'll reset there. We'll do one with a text so you can see the difference. Alright, I chose a text comment, or text response. I'm going to make this a required question, and don't really have much on the and I'm done here. Now I can go through, I can either embed this, I can edit confirm, I can email this form, I can see the responses, which I don't have yet, and right now I'm going to save. So I've saved this. Now when I go back to my Google Drive, it will be an option once it's uploaded, and I can see the form that I just created. I can open it up and it'll show me this is how you actually gather the information, or this is how the information is given to you in a spreadsheet, which is actually really nice because you can arrange the information a couple different ways, and it makes it very nice in one spot, one location. So I'll give you a couple examples of how we can publish it, then we'll answer the questions and you can come back and take a look at this. So one of the ways that you can publish is by email. So I can email this by sending the form, and if I wanted to send this to myself, I can, there that is, I can include the form in the email, I send, simple as that. Now when I go back to my email, it'll have a new, there's my newest one, so I open it up, and I actually get the quiz or the survey right here in my email, and I can answer it from this. So I can talk about the 5 steps of writing, the writing process, and I can answer the question here. Now if I don't answer a question and I submit, it's not going to allow for me to submit this. It's going to give me that warning. writing an incomplete sentence, and to save time, Alright, now when I submit, it's going to allow me to submit, and I will, when I go back, I've written in it, I've taken the quiz, and now you'll notice the form has my answers. Immediately it's there, it tells what time I took it, it tells what my answers were to the questions. Had I chosen in the option here to automatically collect respondents' domain username, then there would be a spot right in here next to timestamp, and it would have collected my AlanM@FCSU account name, and then you can see which student or which adult is giving you this information. Again, that works if you're sharing it inside the domain only. There are other options to collect information from people. If it's outside of a domain, there's some options. So the next way of sharing this is through embedding it onto a web page or another option. So I have a couple options to do that. Now, because I created a practice page here in Google Docs or Google Sites, they work so well together that when I click on Edit the Page, which is that little pencil, I can click on Insert, go down to Spreadsheet Form. Here's the spreadsheet I want to insert. I click on that and I select. I can make some changes here to allow, depending on what I want it to look like. I'm going to save. I will save the changes here, and here is my spreadsheet form. Again, I'm going to make some changes so you can see the difference. I'm going to say this one is, I'm only going to answer 2, so it's different. And here I'm going to answer it again. So now I've submitted, I did everything properly. Now the person who had created it, so I just took the survey, that might be a student or somebody else. Now the person who created the survey goes into their document, and immediately again we have the second response. And I can do this a couple different ways. I can organize this, which is really nice. I can organize it by when it was taken, when it was submitted. So this is the most recent submissions on top. If I change it, now it's the first submissions on top, most recent on the bottom. Some questions might offer, or in some questions it might be beneficial to organize these alphabetically. In this case, not as much, but again, it changes it, and you can do the same thing here. So that's up to the individual and what questions are asked. But now I have 2 responses. I can compare them to my answers, or to what I believe is to be correct, or I can just gather the information, whatever I want to do with it. And that's Google Forms, creating, customizing, publishing, and receiving the information. I hope you find some uses for them in your class. I'm sure you will.